She's got a smile that sings to me, reminds me of childhood memories, and everything was as fresh as a bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, it takes me away to that special place. And if I stare too long, I might lay down and cry. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to StillerBros at the Movies. Woo, woo! And today, guys, we are back in the MCU for round 4 of the Thor story. Yeah, it's Thor 4, bitches. Which means that, should we do the rest of this review and run? No. Okay, thank you. Thank God. Okay, but today we are going to see Thor, Love, and Thunder. I hope there's a lot of love in it.
I hope there's a lot of thunder in it.
If the ratio to love and thunder is not 50-50, then I'm gonna show these hands.
Like, we're gonna go to Taika Waititi's house and make him give us our money back.
Because if this movie's called Love and Thunder, that ratio better be fucking kicking.
Yeah.
Speaking of Taika Waititi, so about 5 years ago, a certain New Zealander director, Hector, found his way into the blockbuster scene after a couple of his indie hits had caught the eye of Kevin Feige. And so Taika Waititi directed the third Thor movie, and it ended up being one of the most popular movies in what might be one of Marvel's more forgettable franchises.
And since then, Taika has taken the understandably well-earned clout that he has gained from that, and has made several projects throughout the entirety of entertainment, from Reservation Dogs to Jojo Rabbit to Armed Flag Means Death.
Basically, after Taika Waititi directed Thor Ragnarok, he went from that guy who occasionally works with the guys from Flight of the Conchords to a superstar in his own right. And I don't think that was hurt by the fact that he played one of the most beloved characters of the movie, Korg. And then, of course, the fact that Marvel definitely printed enough pamphlets, so the only people who showed up to the movie were not just his mother and her boyfriend, whom he hates.
Yes. But 3 years ago, so obviously, understandably, 3 years ago when they were announcing, when we were slowly getting trickles just before Comic-Con of what was happening in Phase 4, we were understandably excited about the prospect of Taika coming back to do another Thor movie.
Which was unexpected because all the Avengers seemed to be the original Avengers seemed to be wrapped up at the end of Endgame. But spoiler alert for a movie for a 4-year-old movie that's literally on TV all the time. Thor ended up going off on a new adventure that only raised the question of, so Chris Hemsworth's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and then we're probably only going to see Thor occasionally after that. But no, not long after Endgame wrapped up and Marvel was about ready to take their victory lap, it was announced that Taika Waititi was going to write and direct Thor 4.
Yes.
Which we got no information about up front, except for the fact that, well, obviously, if it's going to be a Thor 4, Chris Hemsworth's going to be in it.
And then Comic-Con happened, and we got news that Chris Hemsworth was indeed coming back. Tessa Thompson would also be coming back in the role of Valkyrie. But the big reveal was the introduction, or rather reintroduction, of Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, a.k.a. Mighty Thor.
This is something that we were psyched about from the beginning, because in case you haven't been following the comics, or the angry loud minority of comic fans who hate anything that adds women or people of color to comic book characters and their storylines.
Hi, Perlmutter.
Basically, Jane Foster in the comics became the female version of Thor for a short amount of time, which ended up turning into a long amount of time when her upgrade proved to be popular. So, but this like Rescue and many other tertiary characters appearing in the MCU seems kind of like an impossibility, just because of the way that the MCU was handling things. Particularly the fact that in Ragnarok, both Mjolnir was destroyed in all the advertisements to basically show that, hey, this new villain means business. And also, Natalie Portman was somewhat unceremoniously written out of the movie entirely.
We did, and one thing we were going into Ragnarok knowing that Natalie Portman wasn't going to be there, and that apparently because of the changes to her character in Dark World, she probably was not going to be be excited to be coming back at any particular time afterwards. We thought that any chance of the mighty Thor making her big screen debut were probably said and done.
At the very least, there would need to be some major rewrites. But apparently, Taika Waititi used that silver tongue of his to convince Natalie Portman that, hey, how about we go for another round, and also maybe we give you a role that will probably require you to sign on for a bunch more of these.
And thus, mighty Thor will be hitting the MCU. Will be making her MCU debut. And we could not be more psyched to see how this will work.
And though of course a new hero in the MCU is nothing without a new villain in the MCU. And this time around, we've got one of the most talented actors of his generation, going with one of the most batshit insane villains of the Marvel Universe. Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Bale joins the cast as Gore the God Butcher.
Continue it. So Aaron Eckhart was fucking right.
You
You're the die hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the bad guy, and he has lived long enough to see himself become the fucking bad guy.
So if you're unfamiliar with who Gore the God Butcher is in the comics, we have basically our favorite description of him is if Job from the Bible grew himself a set of balls. Basically, he's a guy who went through a whole lot of bad stuff in his life, and eventually came to the conclusion, it's all random, I guess. There's no way that there's any loving, benevolent gods out there if all this horrible stuff is just allowed to happen. Then one day he saw two gods fighting and was like, oh, there are gods. They're just aloof morons. They're just aloof bastards that let bad things happen. I'm gonna kill these mofos.
And that's basically the gist of his character. He just feels this. He's just going to get this divine revenge on what essentially the universe.
And that's basically what we've got. We've got Thor, what we left off of in Endgame and Infinity War, teaming up with his ex-girlfriend, who for reasons we do not know yet, and his ex-Hammer, and his two best friends that he has been able to hang on to since all the stuff that happened to him in Infinity War and Endgame, and fight a guy who has killed enough gods that he's gotten the nickname the God Butcher.
And along for the ride, we have, of course, have Korg, once again played by Taika Waititi, the character of Meek, and the Guardians of the frickin' galaxy, motherfuckers. Only I didn't say frickin', but I did say motherfuckers.
And also Russell Crowe going full on crazy dad bod. I don't care what happens next. Russell Crowe adding to a new pantheon of gods to the Marvel Universe as Zeus.
Yes.
So does that mean Hercules is on the way? Time will only tell.
But we're very, very excited to see what happens. This will obviously have a new path into the MCU. We got a new Thor. We have Chris Hemsworth returning. We have Taika back behind the director's chair, and we have this, and with this, and then Miss Marvel wrapping next week. That's our last Marvel stuff until after Comic-Cons, when they will no doubt expand the slate, because we've only got three more truly announced movies before we run out of what we have announced so far.
And right now, reviews for this one are kind of like what they were with Guardians of the Galaxy, where everyone's like, yeah, it's about the same amount of fun as the last one, but it's kind of hard to surprise us as last time. Time will only tell if they can do what Guardians Volume 2 did, where it's like, oh yeah, those moments in the actual movie are actually hit really hard, so maybe we should re-examine this one and decide that it's one of the better ones of the cycle.
Yeah.
But one thing's for certain. this will be the best movie to come out this summer, starring Chris Pratt, Jeff Goldblum, and Sam Neill.
Yes. We can at least guarantee that.
Jurassic World for future people watching this and who have already forgotten that movie already came out.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else to add before we go in?
I think I've said all I need to say right now.
Yes, this movie's going to be awesome. Let's go and enjoy it. See you after the jump. Bye.
Alright, guys, we're out.
That was a fun ride.
Yeah, it was.
I have no doubt that this will... After Ragnarok, this whole thing was... It became very clear that the Thor movies are going to be this fun action space Viking romp, and I think that's exactly what we ended up getting with this one again.
I honestly think... I'm not sure if I like this more than Ragnarok. I think I'm going to have to sit on it for a little bit to know for sure where it ranks as Thor movies. But as Thor movies go, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's fun, it's actiony, and everything else. I think Taika Waititi got exactly what he wanted out of it when he started working on it. So let's get into it. Talking about things like Chris Hemsworth going to deeper places with Thor than he has gone in in a lot of the last 11 years.
Yeah, he's definitely at this point has a lot of ownership of the character to the point that he is now an executive producer on this film.
And he's really playing Thor in ways that he hasn't before. He goes to dramatic places with the fact that he's seen his ex-girlfriend and his ex-weapon all in one place, and it's just basically the whole movie revolves around that kind of idea, especially with the fact that it's kind of like Thor is fighting grief in a way.
It's there is we are taking the character to the natural next step after Endgame, and for that it is definitely where we needed to take Thor, and in doing so we have to bring back Jane Foster.
And Natalie Portman is definitely having a good time getting to go through all the stuff that Chris Hemsworth has been going through over the last few movies, being added to this part of the franchise that she never got to be part of, and to expand her character in ways that she never got to beforehand.
Moving farther than the damsel in distress that she having a bigger character than she did in Dark World, which was definitely a sticking point with her not being in Ragnarok. Thanks Ike Perlmutter.
But the fact that Natalie Portman got to come back, play Mighty Thor, give us all a push forward, it's just amazing. And also, there are cameos galore in this movie that we dare not spoil, especially a bunch near the end. And it's just so much fun to see a bunch of these cameos, especially like the omnipotent city scene where there's all these hidden jokes and cameos throughout.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to see this movie more than once to actually see a bunch of these things.
Yes. Tessa Thompson is great as Valkyrie, but we already knew that. Taika Waititi is fantastic as Korg, still just the funniest thing in the movie.
And though, of course, he's almost overshadowed by the goats.
The goats.
The goats scream, I laugh. It's a formula. It works.
Yeah. Especially the way they utilize it. But the one person who is definitely bringing their A game and just kind of having a ball with it is Christian Bale as Gore.
Christian Bale feels like he kind of took some notes from Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in a few scenes, but other than that, he really nails the way that Gore needs to be. This isn't like Multiverse of Madness where it's a straight up horror movie, but the Gore is definitely a villain with some horror movie tendencies, particularly because of the fact that he has the ability to move throughout shadows and everything like that.
So he's doing some horror movie a couple little jump scare moments that kind of give it a very good horror movie vibe to him, even though he can still be funny and kind of a little, but mostly just menacing and Hennessy, and Christian Bale's just kind of enjoying the ride.
He's got this dark energy about him that you just make that up until just now, when I thought of this joke, you don't think, oh, that's Jack Kelly from the Newsies.
But there he is. It's a fine life of carrying the banner, man.
And the banner being a god-slain Uber sword. Speaking of gods, Russell Crowe as Zeus.
Yes.
One of the few depictions of Zeus that I think has ever actually tried for a Greek accent. Is it an accurate accent? I don't know. All I'm glad is that we got Russell Crowe acting. Deciding to that it's like, yeah, I don't really care. I don't really care. I'm just gonna show up, have fun, walk away.
I'm enjoying myself.
Paycheck.
I'm enjoying myself, guys. I'm gonna.
And it's not gonna be to its detriment, like when I messed up in Les Mis.
I'm just gonna get up on stage. I'm just gonna get up there. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna crack a couple jokes, make a complete fool of myself. Maybe pop up somewhere. Maybe we'll pop up again sometime later. I don't know.
But while I'm here, and it all really gels, and especially with the classic rock soundtrack that's mostly made up of Guns N' Roses, but it's a classic rock soundtrack that just tells you that Taika Waititi took all the praise of, oh my god, it looks like a panel, like someone every frame of Ragnarok looks like someone painted the size of a panel van and turned that into the frames of the movie, and they were like, and he was like, yeah, we'll do that for the whole movie.
Yeah, we can do that.
I swear to God, I can do a better Taika Waititi than that. It's late and I'm not prepped.
Yeah, but this is colorful, but it is way colorful. We get some cool stuff. We get some great cameos. We get some funny jokes and some great action sequences.
And of course, fantastic themes by Michael Giacchino.
Some awesome character moments. And I'm very interested to see where we're going in the Marvel Universe from here.
This isn't like major game changers like with Multiverse of Madness or No Way Home, where we're just like, what's gonna happen next? We
have an idea of what will happen next, but it just all the pieces have to come together.
Yeah. And for right now, let's just be happy we've got what we've got, and
we're still.
Speaking of what we've got, guys, offer's still on the table. Boop. Sorry, if I didn't work it in here, I'd completely forget about it, and it'd be gone.
Yeah, we don't want it to be gone. But yeah, this is really showing us we're still in the early stages of this era of the MCU, so. We're not just
even though there are a lot of people who are writing it off at this point. I think like with phase one, like with the previous phases, we're gonna find everything falling. We're gonna find that a lot of the story beats are gonna fall into place as we go along.
Yeah, so it's not. So we have ideas of where they're gonna go with it based on what stuff we saw in this movie, but it is just a matter of everything coming together. And obviously, since we're moving into what is, as far as we know, the end of Phase 4 at this point, because we don't know because we're running out of Phase 4 movies they've announced.
But we'll see. This is a whole new movie. This is a new movie. This is a whole lot of new stuff to talk about. I think we're moving into a good slate. Hey, these are solid. These have been solid movies in Phase 4 so far, and the series have been, if not fantastic, at least fun all over the place.
Yeah, I mean with everything we've gotten so far, I'm excited to see what we have next. We have, like we said at the beginning, Miss Marvel is coming to an end next week, so so maybe that will give us more impact. We definitely know that we're going into that. Then we only have 3 movies with concrete release dates, and everything else is up in the air right now.
For right now, Thor: Love and Thunder is another good Thor movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
Marvel, as cliche as it is to say, Marvel does it again. Marvel does it again.
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, at this point, it's kind of more boring to go into a Marvel movie and enjoy and have it be a well executed, great movie.
Because they're all well executed, great movies. They're fun. They're a fun time. And like I said, the worst thing you can say about the first two Thor movies is that they're kind of forgettable. Like I've just rewatched some of Thor at work today, and I was just like, oh yeah, this was far enough back that Iron Man was like a month ago for these people.
Yeah, but yeah, these movies are still good, and my main problem with the MCU as a whole is that it's just kind of boring to keep saying these movies are good.
They're fun movies. They're good movies. I love them. I can't wait to see more of them. I hope to see more of them. I hope to be part of them. Boop! Again.
Superhero fatigue is definitely starting to set in, which is a little interesting because you'd think we would have had a little which we've had a year off to. We had that year off to kind of reset, but it's coming. Superhero fatigue will always come and go. Always, every time a Marvel trailer comes in, that superhero fatigue kind of goes away, and I get excited for another one of these.
I mean, for God's sakes, we sat down in this theater and when the Marvel logo came up, Michael Giacchino played the Marvel theme, had the Marvel theme turned into a classic 80s rock anthem.
Yeah.
There's no way that this could... If they're going to keep having this much fun, it's going to be amazing to keep going. Especially if we keep getting people like Taika Waititi behind the camera.
Yeah.
But for right now, once again, Thor Love and Thunder is another good Marvel movie. Shock of all shocks. And Hawks. I hope to see more. I hope we see more stuff like this in the future, and it's just going to be so good as we keep going along, if the quality stays up to this level.
Yeah.
So anyway, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to tune in next time when... You know what? Let's play this by ear.
Not like last time we said that. And a fucking pandemic delayed everything. Like, we're seriously just gonna play this by ear. We'll see you guys when we see you.
Bye.